The Sony Xperia 5 is a surprisingly good compact phone with top-tier specs. It's the smaller version of the company's flagship, the Xperia 1, and it's very comfortable to use. It has amazing cameras, but also a few infuriating issues. Let's take a closer look. One can say that the Sony Xperia 5 is the spiritual successor of the Xperia Compact series from before. It has all of the flagship specs of a top-tier phone stuck in a smaller body, which is much easier to hold. Even so, it's a very tall phone, so it's not as easy to interact with as the compact series of the past. As you can see, the Xperia 5 has a beautiful design. Sony sticks to its signature stark rectangle as a footprint with clean looks and a very balanced feel in the hand. The side-mounted fingerprint scanner is back, and let me tell you, we're not fans of this one. Not only is it inconvenient to use when the phone is on a stand or lying on a table, it's also very unreliable. An unlock sometimes takes multiple attempts, and often the scanner doesn't recognize our fingerprint at all. The screen on the front is a beautiful OLED panel with a 6.1-inch diagonal. This might sound like it's huge on paper, but keep in mind that the screen ratio is 21:9, meaning that it's narrow and tall. In reality, we have little trouble handling the Xperia 5 with one hand. It's light and very easy to shuffle around your palm so that you can reach every point of the screen with your thumb. The display is sharp and vibrant with a number of settings that you can tune to taste. We found the stock calibration to be a bit too cold or dull, but it was easy to set the colors up to our preference with the RGB sliders in settings. When it comes to raw performance, the Xperia 5 does not disappoint. It's equipped with a Snapdragon 855 and has 6GB of RAM, which ensures that the phone is responsive, snappy, fast to load, and doesn't get bogged down by any app you can find on the Play Store. We did run into some software issues like random crashes of the camera or specific slowdowns when interacting with some interface elements. We would hope that Sony is on top of those and ironing them out for a future patch. And when it comes to software, we have the typical Sony interface on board. A very light rescan of Android with a few proprietary Sony apps. This time around, we did get a preloaded Fortnite installer and Asphalt 9, which is a bit annoying, but disabled them with no issues, so it's no worry. The one thing that's unique to the Sony interface is the Side Sense feature. You tap twice at the very edge of the display where the glass meets the metal, and you get this customizable app drawer so you can quickly call up and switch between your favorite apps. There's also a face unlock feature, which you can fine-tune by taking multiple photos of yourself in different environments, so it gets even more accurate. This one really saved us from going insane over the terrible fingerprint scanner. Cameras is what the new Xperia phones put a heavy emphasis on. The Xperia 5 has the same camera setup as its bigger sibling, the Xperia 1. And let me tell you, it doesn't disappoint one bit. The triple setup has a regular wide-angle camera, 120-degree ultra-wide camera, and a 2x zoom telephoto lens. It was a very pleasant surprise to see that all three sensors are calibrated somewhat close to each other in color reproduction, so taking pictures with the three lenses doesn't make it look like you're using three radically different cameras. It's also cool that the cameras support HDR video up to 4K at 60 frames per second. The auto mode is pretty good at picking up scenes and setting up the camera to take a great photo as you tap the shutter. Unfortunately, Sony's camera software is still not fleshed out, and the manual mode feels clunky at best. Aspiring filmmakers will have a lot of fun with the Cinema Pro app. It's Sony's take at a pro-grade camcorder app developed specifically for film. You can record 4K, HDR video in 21:9 with different color profiles, all simulating popular professional Sony cameras. You've got access to all three cameras for video, manual focus with programmable A/B presets, white balance, ISO, and shutter speed control. The app is certainly fun to play with, and while we would have liked to see focus peaking as a feature, we've got no complaints here. Yes, an aspiring YouTuber with the knowledge and the vision can record a short movie with this thing and achieve pretty impressive results. The Xperia 5 comes with a 3140 mAh battery, which is about the average size for a compact phone these days. But what about the actual battery life? For this we test rigorously using three different components. First, browsing. We're opening a set of pages that refresh at the same pace and also scroll up and down to simulate browsing. If you really love news or use social media, this test is a great indication of how long you can expect your phone to last. The Xperia 5 scores 8 hours and 30 minutes here, which is a bit below the average. And this is about the same score as the Galaxy S10, but lower than the iPhone 11, which scores about 11 hours on this test. Next up, we also test YouTube video playback. Here the Xperia 5 finishes with a score of about 6 hours and a half. This again is a bit lower than the average, so if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, the Sony phone will die quicker than most. Finally, we test 3D gaming, and this result will tell you how long you can expect your phone to last if you're playing games like Fortnite or Asphalt on it. The Xperia scores almost 6 hours on this test, which is an impressive result. All in all, we're really impressed with the Sony Xperia 5. Nowadays, you very rarely get to see a compact phone that has all of the bells and whistles of a flagship. But it also comes with a flagship price of $800. Is it worth that much? That's a weird question nowadays, with smartphone prices going constantly up and down as manufacturers fight for every little piece of the market they can secure for themselves. What we do know is that certain places will sell the Xperia 5 bundled with the exceptional Sony WF-1000XM3 wireless headphones, which is an extra $230 value on top. If that's the case for you, we'd say it's an amazing deal. If not, then the Xperia 5 has two main competitors for your consideration. The iPhone 11, which starts at $700 and is more powerful, has a great camera, but is a bit on the wide side and not quite that comfortable to use with one hand. And then the Samsung Galaxy S10, which has its compact size and powerful performance on its side, and it runs Android, but the price is a bit higher at $900. And this wraps up our review of the Xperia 5, a different phone in an ocean of sameness. What do you think about it? Do you like where Sony is going with this phone? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to leave us a like, subscribe to our channel, PhoneArena. My name is Vic, and I'll talk to you in the next one.